In 1984, Social Security benefits became taxable, and fewer than 10% of retirees got touched by it. Today, it's more than half. The law didn't get worse. The base amounts are still the same 4 numbers the IRS prints every year. One line stayed frozen for 4 decades, and inflation did the rest. I'm going to show you exactly how that silent freeze works, and the 2 filing traps that hit people who think they're playing it safe. 2 retirees, same age, same city, same Social Security check. One pays 0 federal tax on their benefits, and the other gets dragged into the 85% zone without earning rich person money. The difference isn't politics or a new bill in Congress. It's a formula the IRS calls combined income. Once you see the mechanics, you'll stop guessing and start planning around it. The mechanism has a name in practice, even if the IRS never says it out loud. I think of it as threshold drift. Most people understand tax brackets. They move with inflation because the IRS indexes them. But Social Security benefit taxation isn't a bracket. It's a trigger based on fixed base amounts, and the trigger is tested using a number that partially includes the benefit itself. Step 1, take 1/2 of your Social Security benefits. Step 2, add all other income. That includes wages, pensions, IRA withdrawals, dividends, and this matters tax-exempt interest like municipal bond interest. Step 3, compare that sum to your base amount. Step 4, once you cross the first base amount, up to 50% of benefits can become taxable. Cross the second tier, and up to 85% can become taxable. Those base amounts are the entire choke point. $25,000 for single, head of household, or qualifying surviving spouse, $32,000 for married filing jointly, then $34,000 and $44,000 for the higher tier. Those numbers were locked in by the Social Security Amendments of 1983, Public Law 9821, and the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1993, Public Law 10366. No third law needed, no rate hike required. If wages and investment income rise over decades and the trigger stays frozen, more people drift across it every year. Social Security's own research paper states the reason plainly. The thresholds were set in nominal dollars rather than indexed to prices or wages. That decision alone turns a narrow tax into a mass tax over time. Here's the part most retirees never see coming until the return is already filed. A lot of the tax code is built to prevent silent drift. The IRS inflation adjusts tax brackets every year. The standard deduction moves. Many thresholds move, but this one doesn't. So a retiree can do everything right and still trigger taxation simply because time passed. The Congressional Budget Office tracked the expansion. Roughly 25% of beneficiaries paying tax on benefits in 1997, about 32% in 2000, about 39% in 2003, and about 49% by 2014. Then Social Security's 2015 projection modeled an average around 56% across 2015 through 2050. Same formula, same base amounts, different economy. That's it. And that's why the argument Congress keeps raising taxes on retirees misses the real story. The more accurate story is colder. Set a number once, walk away, and let inflation do the legislating for you. That's threshold drift in its purest form. Now the 2 traps that blindside people, including one where your threshold isn't $25,000, it's 0. Trap 1 is the tax-free income trap. Publication 915 explicitly includes tax-exempt interest in the combined income test. Municipal bond interest stays tax-free on its own line, but it can still push you over the Social Security base amount and cause your benefits to become taxable. The muni interest doesn't get taxed. It acts like a switch that makes your Social Security taxable instead. Picture a 67-year-old single retiree in Phoenix. They collect $24,000 a year in Social Security. They also have $12,000 from a small pension. That's already $12,000 plus half of Social Security, another $12,000, putting combined income at $24,000, just under the $25,000 base amount. They think they're safe. Then they add $2,000 of municipal bond interest because they were told it's tax-free. Publication 915 forces that $2,000 into the combined income test. Now they're at $26,000, and part of their Social Security becomes taxable. Nothing about their lifestyle got bigger. A safe income source flipped the switch. Trap 2 is the filing status landmine. Publication 915 lists a base amount of $0 if you are married filing separately and lived with your spouse at any time during the year. Not most of the year. Any time. One day under the same roof triggers it, and it's harsher than people realize. If you're in that category, you don't get eased in through the 50% tier. Publication 915 allows up to 85% of benefits to be taxable simply because you're married filing separately and live together at any time during the year. Who files separately? Often couples dealing with medical bills, income-driven student loan payments, or a separation that isn't finalized. These aren't loophole hunters. These are people trying to survive paperwork, and the IRS rule treats them like they don't deserve a threshold at all. There is an escape hatch. File separately and live apart for the entire year, and the base amount returns to $25,000. Entire year means entire year. Run 4 moves that stop this from ambushing you. First, calculate your combined income before you make a small change. Don't guess. Use the IRS Publication 915 worksheet logic. Half your Social Security plus all other income plus tax-exempt interest. If you're within $2,000 of $25,000 or $32,000, a single IRA withdrawal or a bond interest payment can flip the switch. Second, resequence withdrawals. If you control the timing, avoid stacking income in the same year. A one-time Roth conversion, a big IRA distribution, or selling a chunk of stock can push combined income into the 85% zone, even if your normal retirement budget is modest. Third, treat municipal bond interest as tax trigger income, not just tax-free income. It can be a good tool, but you plan around it like you plan around a pension. If an advisor built a muni ladder for you, demand a clear explanation of how it affects combined income. Fourth, if you're considering married filing separately, treat the living together rule as a hard constraint. If you live together at any time during the year, Publication 915's $0 base amount applies. If you truly lived apart for the entire year, document it and make sure the return reflects that reality. None of this requires a new law. It requires seeing the old law clearly. The money line is simple. Your Social Security tax bill can rise even when Congress does nothing, because the trigger amounts never move. Subscribe if you want more of these rules explained like a system, not a slogan.